Hello and welcome to Seismic Cinema. So put your feet up on your X-Wing as you fly through space, grab your colourless lightsaber as it changes size, and prepare to sing Tatooine Rhapsody on loop for the next hour and probably more.
Pretty disappointed, to be honest. I thought you were going to do the intro in Japanese. Oh, we should have done that actually. That would be amazing.
Too late now, isn't it?
Yeah. All right, we'll do it in post.
So
Anyway.
I'm Colin, aka Ethan, for this episode, and you are
Margrave Juro from the ninth Jedi episode.
Indeed.
Because this week we are reviewing Star Wars Visions Season 1.
Volume 1.
Oh, Volume 1, sorry. I apologise.
Well, we are, as Paul said, we're Seismic Cinema, and I've usually not seen it, and Paul's usually watched it in the wrong order. I don't know how he watched Visions. We'll hear about that. We believe in the power of escapism, and this is our wee hour tonight to escape from reality and talk some Star Wars. And you can find us on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So give us a follow, a like, and any retweets. And you can listen to us and watch us on YouTube and Spotify, which now has video. And you can also listen to us on likes of Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Good Pods, and all those other places. So some of our recent podcasts, last time out, I was joined by the guys from the Moisture Farm Report as we reviewed Bad Batch Season 2 and Mandalorian Season 3. And we've also recently reviewed the first Hangover movie to celebrate the Stag Wars. And we did something else recently, which I'm blanking on. What else did we do recently?
Oh, the interview with Jeff.
Oh, how did I forget that?
I know. Jesus God.
That was like the highlight of April for me.
I know. We did an interview with the author Jeff Minapachi, and Colin was very starstruck throughout the whole thing. But it was great.
I'm still really chuffed we pulled that off.
Yeah. And I wasn't involved in the last episode of the Bad Batch and Mandalorian, but listened back to it, edited it. Didn't do much editing right enough, just stuck an intro and an outro, and I just couldn't bother putting anything else in the middle.
That's because there was no dogs to edit out.
Oh, pardon. Yeah, so it was really good. I really enjoyed it. Adam and James are really good guests, so hopefully we can do some more with them in the future. But yeah, really enjoyed it, so good job.
I think I maybe said around about Ahsoka time.
Oh, did you? Okay, nice. No, I did really enjoy it. It was quite good discussions, and even though James wanted to throw hands with me a few times throughout.
Yes, I'm looking forward.
Didn't take him for a violent person.
I'm looking forward to the big fight.
Who's your money on?
Mando.
What?
Because your dogs would step in if you were getting harmed.
No, not even needed. They'd shape bag it and just run away.
Anyway, let's segue into, for me, it'll be quite a quick, what are we watching? Although I had like an idea for a better name for it, maybe like Seismic Suggestions.
Sure. Is that not what we used to call those wee posts you used to do during the day, back in the day?
We'll repackage it for this. So
right, okay.
What have you been checking out last couple of weeks then, PK?
Well, I just binged Visions today because I hadn't seen it since it first came out. I watched the movie the other night. It was a classic, Joyride. It's got Paul Walker in it. And it's like him and his like deadbeat brother, and they have like a CB radio, and they're driving along to go pick up, I think, this girl that he really likes. And they play a prank on the CB radio and tell this guy to meet them at a hotel room, and the guy gets like embarrassed but ends up killing the guy that was in the next room and stuff. And then he had like starts toying with them, hunting them down and stuff, the truck driver, and you never see him and stuff, and it's really good. It's I hadn't seen it in years. I think I'd seen snippets of it, and then I watched the full thing the other night. It was really good. Really enjoyed it.
What's that on?
That was on, I think it was on Disney Plus actually.
Okay.
Joyride. I think it was Joyride, yeah. And watched the movie the other night. I think it was called Breakup. was like a 90s movie, but it wasn't my cup of tea.
Is it called The Breakup?
I think it's just Breakup. I think it's the Breakup, not one with what's her face on it. Oh god, I can't remember. Anyway, no, the Breakup had a young Keith Sutherland in it, and it's basically like it's to do with like domestic abuse and like
very cheery topic, Paul.
Murders and like somebody on the run. So, but it wasn't really for me. Like it wasn't good. Like, the story wasn't good. The logic wasn't good behind it. It was just like scenes that didn't make sense, and yeah, it wasn't. I didn't enjoy it that much.
Oh, I won't watch that one then.
Yeah, no, I can't remember what that was on either. I think that was on Prime maybe or Netflix. Yeah, not really been watching anything apart from that. I don't think. Watched Mando. You had my thoughts on it. Omega's still annoying. Bad Batch as well. But yeah, not really been watching anything else really apart from that. Been work.
Oh, well.
Sleep.
Yeah, I would say I've been writing invites for the wedding, but I've been observing and quality assurance.
Quality assurance. Oh, okay. Has Aileen got good handwriting?
That's alright, yeah.
I can't just stuck it on the computer, printed it.
Ask me what I've been watching.
What are you watching?
Well, I watched like 7 out of 9 of the episodes of Visions. I didn't manage to watch the last 2. Me and Aileen started watching another iPlayer show. We like our kind of crime procedurals on iPlayer. It's only 6 episodes. We watched the first 2. It's called Blue Lights, and I've heard quite a few people saying it's pretty good, and we've enjoyed it so far.
Is that the Irish one?
Yeah, it's in Belfast.
Yeah. I've seen a clip of it, like one of the first episodes or something, where they go into an estate and then they're kind of like, you shouldn't be there, kind of thing. Is that right?
It's like Out of
Out of Bounds.
OOB or something like that.
Yeah, or double OOB.
Aye, that's the one. I watched a wee bit because I was listening to Moisture Farm Report's Caravan of Courage review, so I watched like the first 25 minutes of it, but I couldn't really get into it at all. Not their podcast, the movie. It was just be teddy bears, Ewoks running about, hugging each other. Pretty poor child actors. I wasn't really that into it.
Well, James kind of liked it, so you can throw hands with him in a car park.
Yeah.
Hello, my money's on James.
My money would be on him too. I took a wee notion with obviously Ahsoka coming out in August. I thought I'd maybe try and watch like Clone Wars and Rebels the whole way through again, because something I've never actually done is, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but there's a chronological order to Clone Wars. Like the episodes, the way the seasons run, they're not actually in chronological order, but if you look it up on the internet, there's like a particular order to watch them in.
God, that sounds like a lot of effort though.
I don't know, I just quite fancied. I didn't really make it very far. I watched the first maybe 2, and then the third thing to watch was the Clone Wars movie, which is a lot longer to get through than a normal sized episode.
Oh, the classic.
And we went to see that in 2008.
Yeah. Hey, I still remember that clone trooper trying to punch that droid. He's a good man.
And I've not really caught any films this week. As I said, I've been quite busy. I've been spending the evenings doing the invites. I just wanted to highlight the very unexpected Black Mirror trailer that dropped, which I'm very hyped by.
Yeah, no, I seen that straight away, and I was like, I need to tag you. I tagged you and James.
I saw that our pal James Patterson had commented saying another podcast, boys, and I was like, oh, that must be obviously something that we've done together. And yeah, that podcast did really well. I got almost 200 views, which for us is really good.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk a bit more about dystopian depression and technology ruining our lives. So yeah, I'm buzzing for it. I'm buzzing for it.
That's literally one of my favourite genres.
That's why you're so happy-go-lucky.
Let's get into the visions of it all. And I have, as you quite enjoyed it when I did it for The Hangover, I picked out 5 fun or I call them fun facts. I'm going to call these seismic statements, Paul.
If you can remember all these, good on you.
That's why I've got my notebook. I can look back at it. Right, you
You
ready
need
for
it.
this?
Aye, on you go.
So number one, the first volume, there was 9 episodes, obviously, and they were created by. There's 2 points to the first one, really. The 9 episodes in volume 1 were created by 7 Japanese, 7 of the best Japanese anime studios. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But volume 2, which also has 9 episodes, has a different country of origin, like a different animation studios from 9 different countries,
Oh, that should be interesting.
which includes Spain,
Mm-hmm.
Ireland, Chile, the United Kingdom, South Korea, France, India, Japan, South Africa, and Lucasfilm themselves from the United
Oh, okay.
States.
That's really. I didn't know that. That's actually pretty interesting. It'd be really cool to see all the kind of different influences on all the different episodes.
Okay, fact or statement number 2. And I thought this was quite interesting. There was originally 10 episodes in volume 1. Ninth Jedi was originally 2 separate short films
Oh
instead
yeah,
of one.
it's not that. Is it that long? The Ninth Jedi. I don't think it was that long.
Long comparatively to the other episodes. It's about 25 minutes.
Oh yeah, and the rest are like 14, 15.
Yeah.
That'd have been a bit of a waste splitting into, to be honest, wouldn't it?
Number 3, there's information about where these. Obviously, these aren't canon. That's something to highlight just going in. But the Elder and the Ninth Jedi were actually set kind of post Rise of Skywalker timeline.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
By the way, just for full disclosure, I don't just know all these things. I did do my Wikipedia stalking pre-podcast, although I could just pretend I know these things. Number 4, it's got a 90, I think that's a 6, 96% approval rating on Rotten
Rotten Tomatoes.
And an average rating of 8.2 out of 10.
Yeah. To be fair, that's pretty good going for like a Star Wars fan base. Is pretty set in stone on what it likes and dislikes, kind of thing. So
this seems pretty generally well received, based on like the reviews I've read and other people's comments and stuff.
it does. Don't get me wrong; it's not perfect, but like I wasn't sure going into it, like if I would enjoy it that much because like animation was never really my thing. Like it took me a long time to get into the Clone Wars. Like when I first started watching and stuff.
I know.
Hey, I'm working my way through Rebels. Don't worry. I'm
Enjoying
doing
it?
It's alright. I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Where are you at?
Have
you finished season 2 yet?
We haven't finished season 1 yet.
All right.
Zeb and Agent Callus fell in a icy hole.
That's a good episode, to be fair.
That was a good episode, yes.
Season 2 is when it, I would say, really hits its stride.
Yeah, okay. I look forward to it whenever I reach there.
Do you know the Inquisitor, the Grand Inquisitor, is voiced by Jason Isaacs? Lucius Malfoy.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, because we're quite disappointed he never actually did the live action version in Kenobi.
That's true. Oh yeah, he was weird looking money. Anyway, yeah. We're going off on the usual rebel tangent, but the 5th fact was there's a comic book all about the Ronin, which is the protagonist of the Duel, the first episode. And I bought this a while ago. I haven't actually read it yet, but I'm going to leave it out to read. There's actually a novel set after the Duel starring the Ronin.
Oh, nice. I can imagine that'd be pretty cool because that was like a really good episode, and he seems very mysterious. So I can imagine he's got quite a lore behind him.
I am my own blood, and these are my own people. Never again do I serve the Jedi. Never again do I yield to their lords.
Well, isn't he just cool?
So yeah, those were my 5 seismic statements.
I could do like a bit of trivia. I'm still quite interested to see what season 2 is going to be like with the different countries. I think that'll be good. Because
Yeah.
wasn't James was saying that one of them was made by the studios in Bristol, wasn't it?
The one is it not the one that did Wallace and Gromit?
Yeah, so it's going to be like stop motion and stuff. So I don't know how that's going to go, but
Aye.
maybe pretty
You,
interesting, pretty cool.
you see aspects of it in the trailer. Have you watched the trailer? You haven't
I've
watched
not
the
seen the
trailer.
trailer. I've stayed away from it because I always find trailers, or maybe not Star Wars, but a lot of trailers you see nowadays, they show you the best bits and it kind of ruins it for you when you see it for the first time. So I've been staying away from trailers a lot recently.
Mm-hmm. So just before we get into this, like, what were your kind of preconceived notions of, like, did you know much about Visions going in, or did you kind of just wait and see what was what?
Well, when Visions first came out, like I knew, like I seen the trailer for that, obviously, and I knew it was all going to be different styles and things. But uh, I thought it was going to be a series that was all kind of the same story, but just every episode was going to be a different style.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I've seen things like that before, where there's been like movies in different segments or in different
Mm-hmm.
styles. But I was quite pleasantly surprised when it was all different stories. I watched the first, I think, 5 in Japanese when I first watched it because I didn't realise you could change the language.
So did Jordan.
Yeah, so I watched the first 5 in Japanese and I watched the last 4 in English the first time around. And then this time around I watched them all in English. And I don't know, I think there's some episodes which lose a wee bit in the English
Mm-hmm.
translation. Like see episode 2 with the rock band. I don't know who did the English voice, but I don't think he's a very good singer. Uh,
Do you know who voices the singer, by the way?
no,
It's Joseph Gordon thingy.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Aye.
Is it? Oh, he can sing. Yeah, in the Japanese version, like the singing was a lot better, and it seemed to go a bit better. And then I think they must have translated it to English or something, and I don't know, it just doesn't sound the same. So I think it lost a wee bit in translation.
I watched a couple of the episodes in Japanese, but not all of them. Maybe I should do that one time.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like there wasn't anything wrong with it. I just preferred the English version, but like the Japanese versions were pretty decent as well. Like very very dramatic, especially the duel when they're just like shouting at each other and stuff. Like the kind of remnant troopers when they're shouting at the villagers and stuff. It's all very like.
There's a. It's funny because that was your preconception. Mine was slightly different. When I heard it reimagined, I thought they were going to do like shorts of the original films in anime style. I thought we were going to have like Phantom Menace redone in anime. Like I thought that's what it was going to
Ah,
be. So it was interesting that we both had different ideas
yeah.
of what the series was going to be about.
Do you ever see like those fan made like anime like clips on YouTube and stuff like that? Sometimes like they come up randomly. It's like and there's like a space battle one where somebody like a fan's made one, and it's like you see the TIE fighter pilots and stuff like in their masks and stuff, and like they're pretty good. They're pretty amazing. It could probably be on par with these kind of things if they had the kind of budget for it. But anyway, I digress.
No, I've not seen any of them. I've got just a. Have you got any just like random thoughts on the series? Like, because sometimes like it was quite good using your thoughts as like a discussion kind of structure in class. Do you have any just kind of random overall thoughts on the series before
don't
we
know.
dive deeper?
I was going to say as well, like I didn't realise till today that there was quite a lot of famous voices in English.
Mm-hmm.
I think I missed you and I was like, do you know who's actually doing the voices for these things? Because I was watching the Twins episode,
Mm-hmm.
and there's one guy and he was like, it was the twin brother, and he was talking. I'm like, that kind of sounds like Barney.
I
How
didn't
I Met
clock.
Your
I didn't clock that at all. By the way, oh, I should have worn my legendary t-shirt tonight.
Oh, you should have. Aye.
Trick.
So yeah, I just heard him and I was like, huh, that sounds like Neil Patrick Harris. And I looked up the cast list and it was like Neil Patrick Harris was him. Alison Brie was his sister. Who else was there?
There
You
was
know the elder episode.
you know the what's the one? The Village Bride one. You know
Yes.
the bride in
Mm-hmm.
question. She's played by or voiced by the one of the Cheyenne from Superstore.
Oh yes, is that the kind of ditzy one?
Mm-hmm.
Aye. David Harbour, you know the sheriff from Stranger Things.
Yeah.
He was the Master Jedi and the Elder.
And the Elder, yeah.
Um,
And Gordon
I don't know.
Ramsay.
I don't know if he was meant to be like. See the way he talks. It's quite flat and quite dull. And I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know if he's meant to be like that, to be quite stoic, or if he's just reading off a script and he can't actually do a voice for a TV show.
Yeah.
Because it just sounded very kind of like, yes, Dan, that's fine.
Yeah, I know. I've got some thoughts I wanted to share, but I think they're maybe better left to the end. I think I'll leave them to the end. But I told you I was going to do a ranking. I'm assuming you haven't done one. Do you want to hear my ranking? Do you want to hear it at the end? Do you not want to hear it at all?
No, actually, it'd be a good place to go with your ranking, because I think if we were to do it, it'd be pretty different. Because I think you like different styles to what I would like. As what was it, James and Adam were saying last week, that I'm very shooty bang bang when it comes to these things.
Yeah.
And your favourite Bad Batch episode was Padu. Oh my god!
I really enjoyed that.
I know you did. Is that not the episode that, like I was telling you on the podcast, I was like, don't waste your time for half an hour?
I really enjoyed it. I like when they just kind of pause for breath a wee bit sometimes.
Yes.
I won't spend loads of time on it. Number 9 is the last one that neither of us watched, but mostly because I don't really remember it. I think it was maybe someone died or sacrificed themselves for like a long lost lover or something like that. That's one of the only things I remember.
When I skipped through, I skipped through it, and it was basically, I think, some Shogun like Sith had taken over the palace or something like that, and I think the princess had found this Jedi. I think she used to be in love with. I can't remember. And he always had visions of like killing people. Yes, he always had visions of killing people and of the future, and he couldn't get away from it. And then he ends up killing the princess by accident or something, because she is captured and dressed up as a bad guy or something.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way he can save her is if she gets healed by the Sith and he joins the Sith. So that's how the season ends, like on a kind of down note.
Yeah, aye, because he kind of just got led away at the end, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's like, what did you do? He's like, what I had to do.
I just feel like there's 2 in this season, or maybe 2 or 3, that I'm not that fussed about rewatching. Like, see if I was just to kind of pick and choose from it, like a pick and mix, it wouldn't be one of the ones I would go to. And number 8 is Lop and Ocho. Like, I don't know your thoughts, but I feel like having a rabbit creature was a bit of a weird call. But even from the trailer, like the rabbit was in the trailer as well.
Yeah, when I first watched it, I wasn't too keen on it, and when I was rewatching it today, I only had time for 8 episodes, and I purposely missed that one because I just didn't care for it. I think like to be honest, like seeing all the episodes, like I think the animation is like amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's so well done and so different, but I just didn't like the story and didn't like the characters. But
I think it was that bad. I kind of liked that she was adopted by the family, and then did they turn on her, or did she turn on them? I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
It was the other one that I watched a wee bit of it when I was waiting on you coming on, but that was about it. Anyway, number 7 was The Elder. I feel like by that point, we'd seen like the kind of Master Apprentice, the kind of Jedi versus Sith quite a few times in the series, and as you said, the Master's voice was a wee bit monotone, and I just feel like not that much really happened in the episode.
Yeah, I see. I quite like this one just because it was like the Elder was a bit of a menacing presence because like the Master Jedi could sense him before they even got there,
Yeah.
and so could the Apprentice. Then they landed, and then they couldn't sense him. They're like, well, he must be pretty powerful, and he knows we're here and kind of things. And then they found this ship, and it was like an old Sith ship. But it was like, oh yeah, send me off to the mountains and you look after the ship. And it's like, why would you send the Padawan out into the mountains? Like, there's no chance. That's horror movie 101. You don't do that.
There's also a bit of a weird bit where he kept winking at the children.
Oh yes. We shan't be having any of that.
Something I did like about the episode was the theme was that time was what defeated the Elder, and that if he'd been younger, he would have wiped the floor with both of them.
Aye, probably, aye. Scarlett just messaged me saying horror movie 101, laughy faces.
And
Stop listening up there.
The appearance of the Elder was, I don't know, slightly amusing with his like yellow teeth and all that.
Yeah, he's like I don't know. I think I've seen like characters like him before where he's just like gross. Like the bad guy's just like has a gross demeanor.
It wasn't bad. I just feel like it was a wee bit forgettable at times. I think it had a good theme throughout it. Number 6, this is one I've kind of grown to like a bit better over time, is The Village Bride.
Yeah, okay.
Because I think at the start it's a bit confusing what's going on because they're jumping between like the past and the present, and you're just kind of trying to, because the episodes are so short, you're trying to work out who's who. But I thought it was quite cool the way they showed like the force powers. Like there was twice in Visions where they did the Kylo Ren like pausing the blaster bolts.
Aye, or the lightsaber, and they did that in the Joe, didn't they?
Yeah, and then the guy with the helmet, the Wanderer guy, he throws the helmet and it blows up the ship.
Oh yeah. That's right. Well, that's what as well. See, because the episodes are so short, like there's always a big, massive exposition dump at the start just to kind of tell you what's going on. Like in most episodes, and it started to rip my knitting a wee bit just because, like, I think was it the twins, and basically the droid is just there just to tell you, like, explaining the whole situation to the female twin.
You do need a wee bit of background, I suppose.
I know. I just felt like sometimes it was a bit too much. It was like just giving like the whole story away, like basically telling you how the episode was going to go before it even unfolded.
This is my big hot take. 5th place, I've got Tatooine Rhapsody. I don't know. Like, I just feel like I've kind of went for the ones I think, the 5 that I think are the most memorable. Like, I feel like the 4 that we've talked about are quite forgettable in places, they're a wee bit samey. Whereas Tatooine Rhapsody is just mental. It's a gang of, you've got is it a Zabrak? It's like Darth Maul species with the like 3 heads.
Is that a Zabrak? Is it?
No, not a Zabrak.
I don't know what they were. They just look very devilish.
You've got a Hutt who doesn't want to be a Hutt. And then he
wants to be a shed.
The runaway Jedi, and then you've got Boba Fett, voiced by Tamura Morrison. You've got a bit of sadness when the Hutt, the music when the Hutt guy gets taken away. And this is probably my biggest hot take for this episode is I really like the song. I find it really catchy, and for like, I think I watched it on like, was it Tuesday morning maybe, and just for like, it was in my head for the rest of the morning.
Oh, the end song.
I like it.
Really? I was watching it, I was like, right. this guy can't sing for his dinner.
Don't get me wrong, it's extremely out of place in the world of Star Wars, but I I do find it quite catchy, and it was quite funny seeing like Jabba like shaking his tail, and it was a wacky, wild story. But I think when you think of Visions, it's one of the first ones you think of, just because it was like this weird concept of a galactic rock band. But yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know. I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was quite
I
quirky.
didn't. Try if you can try and watch it in Japanese because I think the song's actually better in Japanese.
What did you make of it as a whole?
I'd have probably had this at the bottom.
I don't know. I just do you get where I'm coming from, in that it's a lot more memorable, probably because of how ridiculous it is compared to the ones I've got lower down.
Maybe, yeah. Dan, it was probably one at least the animation style I probably liked the least. I don't know. It just seemed weird as like watching like children, like
Mm.
wee kids in Star Wars, like Boba Fett kid with a man's voice. It was weird. Um, and I'd probably had it bottom. Actually, I probably would have skipped it if I could, but my Disney Plus froze and I had to watch it, so I just let it roll.
That's where we differ. I love it. Number 4 continues in the ridiculousness. I thought the twins for the first half was really quite interesting, quite dark, and I really like the animation style in the twins actually, and I like the concept of these twins born of the dark side, and I liked them better when they had their masks on. They seemed a lot more intimidating. It's a bit like when Kylo Ren would take his mask off, and I've heard that the twins were kind of based on Han and Leia's kids from Legends,
I was going to say
Jason and
the boy twin
Jaina.
didn't seem very kind of Luke Skywalkerish
Yeah,
with a Han
and
Solo vest.
it does get absolutely ridiculous, like chopping a Star Destroyer in half with a lightsaber and roaming about space with no helmet on. But I feel like it's just a lot of fun. I think if you just switch your brain off for it, you can have a lot of fun with the twins.
Yeah, I remember watching it for the first time and I was just like, is he breathing? Is he breathing? Is he doing the Princess Leia thing in The Last Jedi?
I really liked talk about characters. I really liked his wee droid that kind of came and rescued him.
Oh,
Can't
yeah,
remember,
yeah.
can't remember what it was called, but
Oh, was it? Wasn't he Hard Duo? No, was that somebody else's?
no, that's right. I think that
I
sounds right.
remember. I remember. Aye, Hard Duo. Aye, I remember somebody saying that in one of the episodes. Uh,
Number 3 might be a wee bit of a hot take again, but
oh,
it's
by the
just
way,
so
I was going to ask about the twins.
yeah.
What did you think about the lightsaber high heels? I was just like
Aye.
watching, like, what the hell is going on here?
That was definitely probably the most out there episode. Like we said, Tatooine Rhapsody was quite mental, but the twins just goes off the chain towards the end.
Yeah, it starts off pretty like calm and collected, and then halfway through, it's just as if like the animators just took some LSD and just thought, well, you know what, we're just going to trip out on it and just draw some stuff.
So they're using the kyber crystals to power this like conjoined Star Destroyer to destroy planets.
Yeah, it's like a Death Star, like a mini Death Star.
But then the Alison Brie's character was like,
She was pure dark side, and
what's the word I'm looking
he turned
for?
to light.
She was like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like she was not polluted by the dark side, but like, you know what I'm
Obsessed.
talking, you know what I'm talking about. I don't know. Anyway, number 3, Toby-Wan Kenobi.
Toby Uncle, I like that.
I really like that episode. Like, I know the concept of a droid with the Force is ridiculous, but I thought the animation style was gorgeous. I loved all the wee, when they were inside the building and there was all the kind of chalk drawings of like events from, like, I watched a few videos where they broke that down, and like General Grievous is there. You've got like AT-ATs. You've got Luke Skywalker from like the original A New Hope poster and different things like that. Um, I just thought it was a really endearing wee robot, and his mission to get the kyber crystal, and how, like, because I think his master built him with the kyber within him. That's how he ends up being able to use the force. I know it's a ridiculous concept, but I really like the animation. I like the character. and I thought that episode was just a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, because it's I think the animation style. I think it's like is it Astro Boy or Robot Boy? There's something similar that I've seen before.
Yeah.
Astro Boy, yeah. When it starts off, when it starts off, it's kind of a whimsical kind of one, and then it takes a really kind of dark turn when he powers up the ship. I thought was he an Inquisitor or like not an Inquisitor, but
I think he was an Inquisitor actually. Yeah, I've
he
seen
was
this.
pretty cool.
I've seen this likened a bit to like a kind of Pinocchio story where he wants to be like a real Jedi.
I want to be a real boy.
There's a couple of lines in this episode. I can't remember what it's called. His master is saying like, "I'm one with the Force is with me."
Oh, like, Chirrut.
And there's a is it in the twins? Is it do or do not? There is no try. I'm sure that line came back in that episode as well when he's like riding the X-wing.
It might be. To be honest, it's all kind of mishmashed into my brain now. Since I watched them all the day, like.
And then number 2 for me was the Duel, which I thought was a great first entry. I loved the animation style. I loved how like it was black and white, but lightsabers and random things were colored.
Oh yeah, aye. This one by far is like my favorite animation style of the bunch. Mm. It's very, very cool. Like, I feel bad because like I don't know much about animation, so like I can't really go into it in depth and like give it all its proper names and stuff. But like, yeah, it was jamming. This was good.
See the bit when he pulls the lightsaber and it just goes like the way it's done. Also, we saw whistling birds in this episode.
Oh yeah, from the droid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You see like when you go, sorry.
No, when you go.
I would say you see loads of different. You see like a Tusken Raider. You see Ninum,
Trandoshan,
Sullustan. Yeah, and there's a Dug as well. And I liked it. Like the droid was like, what was the droid actually doing? Like fixing something or like, aye. The droid with the straw hat.
What was it doing? Wasn't it just getting repaired?
Ah, yeah, and then like and you could hear like the whistling of the kettle going.
Yeah, because the Ronin was like, "Can you have him fixed by the time this kettle boils?"
Yeah.
Because I think a blaster bolt came from the town and like zapped him a wee bit.
Mm-hmm. I like that like when they come off, when they get into the first thing we see is just like these like Imperial remnants like going into a village and like demanding their taxes and there's the big mystery behind the Ronin as well. Like, is he a Sith? Is he used to be a Sith? He's obviously collecting like kyber crystals, and he looks like he's hunting down like Sith at the moment.
Yeah, because when I first watched it, like obviously this was your introduction to it, and it's like completely different. It's like feudal Japan almost, and then you see like the troopers and stuff, and it's like what you're used to, but completely different. And I really loved that as a good introduction to the series. I think it really lended well to the enjoyment of the series as a whole, just because it started off so strong.
The lady Sith's hair was a bit weird, wasn't it? I didn't expect that to come out.
Yeah, a few of the hairstyles were a bit suspect in this in a whole.
And my last one before we have a kind of general discussion about the show, my favourite, and it has been since we first watched it, was the Ninth Jedi, which I just thought was an excellent concept and just a really interesting story with multiple good characters and interesting lightsaber developments as well.
Yeah, this is like, see, if I was to do a ranking, I'd say between the Duel and this one are my favourites. Mm-hmm. I remember at the time the big reveal, and I was like, "Holy shit! I did not see that coming."
I've got something I've been dying to say to you about this show, but I wanted to save it to the podcast. See when like they find out all the Jedi or Sith and like their lightsabers, and they fight. It really reminds me of the last episode. No, the end of the first episode of Invincible when everyone's just slaughtered. I feel like it's in like a similar kind of like venue.
Would you say a similar venue?
Like I just like where they were. It was like kind of I can't remember where they were in Invincible in the end of the first episode, but they were in like some kind of.
Oh right, aye, like in the
Do
the
you
tower,
get
right?
what
Or
I
was it
mean?
the meeting place? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Everyone who you think is the heroes, they just get all slaughtered. Like that always just reminded me of Invincible for some reason.
Right. See when you said like everyone gets slaughtered, I thought you were talking about like you know the train when he's just like rattling through the
No,
train and stuff. I
not
thought
that
that's what
one.
you were talking about. I was
The
like,
end,
I just want to remind you of that.
the end of the very first episode, because I remember up to that point. I think was it you that told me to watch it?
I did, yes.
I remember watching the first episode and being like, it's all right. And see that last episode, see like the end of that first episode to like the end of the season, I was pretty hooked by it. We should do a wee Invincible podcast at some point.
We should. I think season 2 is coming out at some point soon. So yeah.
So yeah, I really enjoyed the episode. I liked that the lightsaber smith and how in this version the lightsabers are different lengths and colors depending on who's wielding them, and like even in the battle, I noticed it more this time round. You know, the guy who was a good guy but kind of got seduced by the dark side, and his lightsaber went purple.
Yeah, yeah, I did see that. Because he's like, oh, I'm sorry. I got possessed by their darkness or something like that.
And I like the story of like the daughter like not having a lot of force power and then taking the lightsabers away and how she develops over the time. And what my favorite part of maybe the whole show was that the group of droids that she tries to get a lift off of that just hate their lives. And he's like,
Yeah.
and he's just like they're like drinking like oil or something, and it's like, can I get
I'm on
a
a
lift?
break.
He's just like, yeah, I suppose so. I thought they were hilarious.
Yeah. No, I'm on a break.
And
he's the only one that's actually functioning.
Yeah, this is a good time to mention something that I thought was a bit weird. In this show, this Star Wars show, you've got a Ethan, a Cara, and there's another one,
Dan.
Yeah. Like really bizarre Earth names. What do you think?
I did think that actually when I was looking at the cast list, and I was like, there's a guy called Ethan in this.
It just seems very out of place, doesn't it?
Next season it'll be Colin and Paul. See in season 2, do you think any of the stories carry on from this season, or is it because like obviously you never find out what happened to the Sabersmith?
Yeah,
so
I don't
any
know
of
if
that
they
will
will, but I heard like quite a few people that I listened to saying that they would have loved the Ninth Jedi to be like a premise for a series.
I think saying that after like the Rise of Skywalker now, that maybe something may happen with it. I don't know. Like since we're exploring further on down the line.
Yeah, I definitely think there is potential to go back. I don't know how that's going to work. Like if it's kind of Visions is like Star Wars version of the Marvel What If, and I think in their season 2 they're revisiting. Like I think there's like a second one with like the new Captain America. There's a second one with like different episodes. But I don't know how. And I didn't see anything like that in the trailer, but that's not to say it's not there. Have you heard the names of the episodes in season 2?
No.
They're up. So there's Sith. There's Sith. It's just called Sith. There's
do you think that's be a bit of Jedi?
I don't know. Screecher's Reach. In the Stars. I Am Your Mother. Journey to the Dark Head. The Spy Dancer. The Bandits of Golak. The Pit. And Our Song, AAU's Song. So that's the names of the episodes for volume 2.
I Am Your Mother, and what was it that one after that?
The Spy Dancer.
What was one before that?
In the Stars. Journey to the Dark Head.
Journey to the Dark Head. Interesting choice of titles.
Yes. So yeah, that's the episodes from season 2. So that's my ranking. The bottom 2 and 3 are the ones I thought were just not as memorable. I had the kind of wacky ones in the middle and the really good ones at the top. So that was how I went about it.
To be fair, you weren't far off. Like, well, I would have probably said either. Like, I'm not sure where I'd place the last one. That is Akiri. Just mainly because I didn't watch it that much. And I didn't get a really good appreciation of it. It's because I couldn't remember much of it, and I didn't watch it fully this time. So it'd be hard to place that one, but I'd definitely put Lock and Ocho at the bottom. I'd maybe have the Elder just a wee bit higher. I don't know, just because I feel like the way they were building up the Sith character, because like all this ominous stuff, they kept defending like the carcass of the Vanga.
Yeah, I just found the protagonist a wee bit boring, as we discussed.
Yeah, David Harbour was a bit kind of.
Yeah.
But
I had a thought. I don't know your thoughts on it. Maybe it's just. Do you know? I feel like this episode or the series as a whole was just very all about the Jedi, all about lightsaber. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. All lightsabers, all about Sith. Did you think there'd be a bit more variety in the storytelling, or were you happy with how like the fact that there was lots of Jedi and Sith and lightsabers?
No, I was happy with it. Like a lot of the media that's out just now, like the Mandalorian, Andor, those kind of things. It's kind of focusing on like the every other people that there isn't much like mysticism and Jedi, but even like in the movies, wasn't there like a lot of Jedi and Sith kind of going on? So
no, I just felt like
I did like it.
It felt a wee bit of a retread of other episodes within the volume at times, but it's not. I don't know. That was just something that I picked up on.
No, I think maybe they were given like a remit that they wanted it to deal with this kind of theme, and maybe next season they'll maybe deal with some other sort of theme.
Yeah, possibly. We don't. Well, I've seen quite a lot of force using and stuff in the trailer as well. So, got a couple of questions for you, Paul. One of which you've already answered, and we've got the same answer for it. Do you know how I did with the Hangover? Asked kind of 3 questions.
Yes.
So my first question, or it wasn't my first question, but one of my questions was favorite episode in terms of animation style. I put down the Duel, which you mentioned as well.
Yeah, definitely the Duel. Yeah, that was my favorite by far. Like everyone is pretty good. The couple just weren't my thing. They're a bit too childish for me. I like the kind of adult style of the first one. And like you were saying about the color differentiation between what was black and white and what was actually in color, really made things pop. So yeah, I would have said the Duel for sure, animation style wise.
So second question, because we both had the same answer for that. Favorite lightsaber, because there's lots of good variety in terms of how the lightsabers are portrayed and animated, etc. So was there any one that stood out?
I quite liked the Elder's wee short swords.
I knew you were going to say the Elder.
Did you? How come?
I don't know, because I like the way they animated the blade of the lightsabers in the Elder episode.
Yeah, I think it was between that and what was it? Margrave Duros. He had the green lightsaber and it had the kind of wee tiny hilts, like kind of Kylo Ren's, but not really. His was quite cool.
I can't remember what episode it was, but there's an episode where you see like a black lightsaber in like a box, and it looks really cool.
Was that not in what do you call it, the Ninth Jedi? And he gives it to Ethan.
That's maybe
and he lights it up and it's blue.
Yeah, my answer is a wee bit different. I liked Kara's lightsaber, how it was like long and like a weird shade of green, and how it changed. It was the first time we'd ever seen that, where a lightsaber changes color and changes size. So I quite like that one.
Oh yeah, because it's like, is it not like colorless? It's like
it looks like a kind of like weird, kind of like pale but a wee bit murky green. I don't know the best way to describe it. But
Yeah, and as she gets more into the fight and tries to
yeah.
protect the Margrave, it turns into green because that's like a kind of guardian color.
And also a wee shout out to the guy with the, I can't remember his name, the purple lightsaber, because that's the only person we've seen with a purple lightsaber out with Mace Windu.
Yeah, is that because he's like angry? Is that why they get the purple lightsaber?
He's called Homan.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I don't know what species he is right enough.
No, and my last question: who was your favorite character out of like the whole volume?
You know what? I knew you were going to ask me this, and then I had an answer like halfway through the episode, and I've totally forgotten it because we've been talking about it all.
Can I give an honorable mention?
Yes.
The grumpy taxi driver guy with the oil.
To be fair, I don't know. Have you ever seen The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
I have not. No.
I think there's a movie actually. I think Alan Rickman does the voice, and he's just like a depressed robot, and it's kind of like exactly sounds like him. He's just kind of like, okay then, there's no point.
This wasn't actually that easy because you've got obviously the Ronin and the Duel. You've got Margrave Juro and Cara, which still sounds weird. And you've got who else is quite a standout? The Elder as well, I suppose. But the one I went for Toby. Toby won. I just thought he was so like infectious and just full of life and joy, and don't know, it just makes you happy.
Yeah, it's not something you see very often in Star Wars.
Robot Jedi.
Usually it's doom and gloom and death and some terrible people doing terrible things.
Have you got a favorite?
I would say my favorite is Margrave Juro.
Ooh.
But I think just because of the look of him.
Mm-hmm.
See, when he has that kind of that robot mask on, it reminds me of like a game I used to play called Destiny, and it just reminds me of that. And I thought he just looked really cool, and like he had a lot of good lines as well. Like when he's hiding in that robot, and he's just like waiting to see who's going to be a Sith.
Mm-hmm.
I still think that's like a really good like see that moment in the episode when like they just all turn out to be Sith, except for like one of the wee kid. I think that's such like a real good shock that you don't really see much in Star Wars.
Big Ethan himself.
I think he's quite a famous actor as well. That plays his voice. I think he was in like Heroes and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure he was in that Bullet Train. Oh, you've not seen Bullet Train, but he's in Bullet Train as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so is that what was it? The Village Bride. I think that's Karen Furuhashi. I think she's in The Boys. You know, the one that gets captured and then she doesn't speak.
You vaguely, just about.
And she's
mental.
like, yeah, aye. That's who plays the Village Bride.
I did watch all of season 1 of until you know what happened.
Until somebody got fingered in the gills.
Yeah, that's the one. What was I going to say? Can't remember now. Gone, totally gone. So,
well, damn.
Have you got any final thoughts on the show before we give a rating and kind of sum up?
I just really like the direction it went in, and I really hope they continue with innovation in the next season. It's definitely something different. Like Star Wars has been, always a bit contentious, and the fan base has always divided on anything that usually comes out. So for it to be kind of positively received by most people, and yeah, it's quite good because animation can always be a bit divisive. Like people think, oh, it's just childish. There's no point in watching that or different things. So yeah, it's good to see the fan base getting in behind the franchise as a whole and embracing such different content.
I feel like it's things like this and like Tales of the Jedi. They seem to be like the most popular in a sense. Maybe because there's lesser expectations on them than there is like a Mandalorian or like a movie.
Yeah, because a lot of, like, say, Mandalorian, you're going to go into it with preconceived ideas how things should go because you know the character so well and you think you know
Mm-hmm.
how things should be. But these just going in totally blind, and it's just a totally new adventure, and there's no consequences, no nothing. Like, people always go into like these series going like, oh, how's this canon? How's this not canon? Is this canon? How's this affect like the bigger picture in Star Wars? Whereas you can just enjoy these for what they are,
Yeah,
and they're pretty good.
it's more chilled out. So anyway, how would you rate season or volume 1 of Visions out of 10 seismic stars?
Out of 10, I would say I'd probably the masses and say about 8.5. Like, it's not perfect. Like, there's some episodes I just don't really care for, and there's some episodes that are just like, hell yeah, this is like peak Star Wars, love it. So it's a good mix. But on the overall, I'd say most of the episodes are very decent. And like I was saying earlier on, the animation of them all are outstanding, and I can't wait to see what season 2 is going to be, or volume 2. Volume 2.
This is a turn up for the books because I wrote my rating in my notebook earlier on. I actually put a 7.
Holy Jesus.
I don't know. I just feel like when it was good, it was really good. But then there was a couple of quite forgettable episodes, and even like I quite like Tatooine Rhapsody. It was a bit ridiculous. Like I don't know. I feel like the good ones, my top 5 are like top 4 are like really good on the whole. But then some of the other ones aren't as memorable. I feel like 7's like a fair rating, or maybe a 7.5 around a bit.
It's quite surprising. I thought you liked this more than me, so that's very
I
surprising.
do, but I think I really like Toby One, The Duel, The Last Jedi. I think the rest of them I'm not as fussed by.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's hard to do something groundbreaking with 15 minutes or whatever it is, 12 minutes, 12 to
They
20
do,
minutes, isn't it?
they do a good job with what they've got anyway. So, Paul, have you? I know you said you didn't really have your PK picks as such, but have you got any podcast friends you would like to shout out?
There was a couple, actually, I was listening to today. I was listening to Stu World Order,
Oh my
and
god!
he had, I think it was a Caption Life on, and they were talking about the Punisher from 2004, and it's pretty decent. I didn't realise the Punisher came out in 2004. Have you seen it? It's with Thomas Jane and John
No,
Travolta.
I've not seen it.
I
No.
could swear this was like a late 80s, early 90s movie. Because it's just, I don't know. I remember it not being that great. And it's 2004, so it's like 2 years after just what do they call it? Attack of the Clones. And it just looks like dog dirt compared. Um, so they're talking about that. What's the script? Wrapped up their season 2, and they've had a very good season. And they've done Avengers Endgame, and no, Endgame Infinity War. They did Infinity War.
I'll need to check
That's their
that
favorite
out.
movie.
I'll need to check that out. That's my
Uh,
favorite MCU film.
yeah, it's about an hour and a bit, but it's really good. Like, they're serious when they want to be, and they have a good laugh when they quite a lot of the way through it. Usually at Drax's expense.
Aye, yeah.
But yeah, that's probably the main two I've listened to. I've not really listened to a lot this week or the past couple of weeks. Kick-Ass, I listened to Kick-Ass. Action Movie Book Club did that, and I watched it on TV the other day. I might have that. What have I been watching? I watched Kick-Ass the other night as well.
What's that? Sorry.
Good. Kick-Ass. I watched that
Yeah, I, enjoy,
this week.
I enjoyed that film back in the day.
Yeah. Good.
Um,
Matthew Vaughn.
yeah, he was on my director's ranking.
He was, yes.
I put a wee post on. I just want to encourage our friends on Twitter just to get in touch, even if it's not about what we're currently reviewing. But got a few comments, SP film viewers who added a wee podcast a while back about getting into podcasting in general. He was just
Ah.
asking if I played Fallen Order and if I was looking forward to Jedi Survivor. And the truth is, I did really enjoy it, but I kept getting lost, and I got so lost that I gave up on it. So I'm not in a position to play Survivor yet, although it sounds really good. It's getting great reviews, and I would love to play it. But I feel like if I went back to Fallen Order, my limited time I have for gaming, I would go away from Hogwarts Legacy, which I really want to finish before I move on to anything else.
Sorry, you can live vicariously through me. I'm working my way through it.
Aye. And
I'm
then,
I'm on Dathomir, and I've came across a couple of.
oh, that's so frustrating, that planet, man.
Yeah, by the
All
way,
the
you see once you get
species.
a bit more powerful, it's so much easier.
I think I went
Um,
there like before I was powerful enough to be there.
yeah, like see now, like I think you used to be able to fight an archer and like a guy, and they'd be horrendous. Like you used to get battered to lumps.
Hmm.
But now you can learn to force pull, so you can just pull them, grab them, and then
Hmm.
throw them off the edge. That's all I do, and it's great.
We could do a podcast of just me trying to get through Fallen Order.
Yeah, by the way, some of the puzzles I've had to YouTube a couple of puzzles because I'm just like I have no idea how to get through this at all.
I don't know. Anyway, Robots Don't Age podcast says they love no. Oh man, I loved the first episode. Ronan is one of my favorite recent characters, and his audiobook is pretty damn good. So he's also talking about the audio version of the book I've got there. Big fan of most of the show. And Chat Tsunami, who we teamed up with in the not too distant past, said it was better than Halo Legends. I don't know anything about Halo Legends. And then he started having a conversation with Cancelled for Maintenance podcast about an episode of that show. So that was the responses we got to the post.
Yeah, I think was it Robots Don't Age. I think I put up a post saying that I was struggling to get past the ninth sister because I just couldn't do it. I was getting like 3/4 of the way through it, the fight, and then I would just slip and lose it and get absolutely murdered. And then he came on, he's like, "Oh, buddy, that's like one of the easiest ones." I was like, "Great, thanks, man, thanks."
There's nothing more frustrating than when you get stuck on the same bit of a game and you're doing it for like an hour and you keep almost get. I was a bit in Hogwarts Legacy where I kept almost getting there and then just falling short. It was really frustrating.
See when the first boss fights, I think it's against the second sister. I started playing it. I was like, and you know, when you're fighting and you're not really getting anywhere, and I was like barely taking any life off her, and I'm like, I must have to lose this fight because like, there's no way I'd be there for about 2 hours if I was just taking this amount of damage off for however long.
Is that the one on like the platform when you're just about to get picked up by the ship in the rain?
No, it's the next one, fight around Kashyyyk, I think it is.
I've not done that
And
one.
I was like, I must just die then. So like, I played for like another 5 minutes, getting killed, got killed, and then it's like, I need to start again. Like, no way, what am I meant to be doing here? And then it turns out you only have to get her halfway to kill her halfway, get her health bar down halfway, and then the fight stops. And I think I was only getting to like so far, and I'm like, I can't be bothered with this. I'm no point. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm terrible at this game.
I just don't know. It's people that have loads of time to game. I don't know what they're not doing because I feel like I've rarely got time to play the PlayStation.
Relationships.
That's it.
I don't know.
Anyway, let's round up. So we are Seismic Cinema, and we've just had a fun wee discussion about Visions Volume 1. A wee bit of ranking, a wee bit of talking about our favourite things, a wee bit of gushing. And we are on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So make sure you like our page, make sure you share our page, make sure you follow our page, like our photos. And if you want to listen to more of our podcast, we do a variety of TV shows, films, some interviews, some rankings, not as many recently. And it'd be great if you could subscribe to our podcast and follow us on maybe Spotify, maybe just share us with your pals, and that'd be great. And the next thing we're going to do is a wee bit up in the air. We're between a few classic films, maybe some new releases. So maybe just before we finish up for tonight, we can maybe firm up at least what we're doing next week. So, Paul, would you like to remind our viewers and listeners what our tagline is?
It is the power of Joseph Gordon-Levitt not making it through the X Factor.
And it's also the power of escapism, and we hope you've enjoyed escaping with us into a galaxy far, far away in the non-canon realm.
Yes, it has been a blast, and look forward to Volume 2 coming very soon. Thanks for listening.